It all started out like a normal day. I was in the parking lot elevator in my office building. I pressed my floor, number 9. When the elevator stopped at the lobby, in walks this guy. He turns around in front of me and presses number 6. Now, my grandfather had a wonderful perspective on people and of life. And one thing he always used to tell me was, smile and say hello to people. You never know, you might just make their day. So I smiled and said, good morning. He completely ignored me. I couldn't believe this guy. Here I was going out of my way to be a nice guy and say hello, and he completely ignores me. When he got off on the 6th floor, I said, have a nice day. Once again, nothing. I was so insulted, this guy ruined my morning. So there he was, Mr. Elevator Man, a picture in my mind. Contest chair, Toastmasters, welcome to the gallery of my mind. In here, the halls are endless, and plastered all over the walls are pictures of everybody I've ever encountered in my life. Like my mama, the high school bully, the guy cut me off in traffic this morning. Ugh, even my mother-in-law. And like in every gallery, every picture has a frame. And my grandfather always used to say, Stefano, it's the frame that makes the picture. For example, you could have a beautiful picture. If you stick an ugly frame on it, completely ruin it. But on the other hand, if you take an ugly picture and choose a beautiful frame for it, really improve the way it looks. So for Elevator Man, I chose inconsiderate, rude jerk with poop emojis. Now my question for you is, what frames do you choose in the gallery of your mind? I never thought I had a choice. I thought you just slapped up your first impression and there it stood to the end of time. Like this one here. This one's my father. The frame I chose for him was, I hate you because you hate me. My father and I never got along. We're always fighting and yelling. He was always putting me down and humiliating me. I couldn't understand why he hated me. Why couldn't he just love me? I moved out of home when I was 16 years old. I became bitter, angry, and resentful. Now this bitterness, anger, and resentment passed through all parts of my life. It even came to a crisis where I hated the world and everyone in it. Now I remember admitting to my grandfather one time, I said, Grandpa, I hate my life. My grandpa told me this. He said, Steph, it's the frame that makes the picture. He said, if you want to change your life, you have to first change your mind. And in order to change your mind, you change your frames. He said, take your dad, for example. He came here from Italy when he was 10 years old. He was very poor. In fact, they were so poor, sometimes they had to shoot pigeons in order to survive. Your Nono, your Italian grandfather, he was physically and mentally abusive. He would even get your dad and his sister to leave the house while he laid his hands on Nona when he felt she was being out of line. It was a very difficult life for your father. But he persevered. He put himself through school. He got a good job, and he saved every single penny that he made to give you the opportunities that you have today. And what have you done with those? My grandfather was right. And I never thought about my father in that way. Sometime later, we went for lunch and we sat down, we talked about all of this. And he admitted to me, he said, Stefano, I never hated you, I loved you. By yelling and putting you down and humiliating you, that's how I thought you motivated people. That's how my dad motivated me and his dad motivated him. But now, how you're raising your daughter with love, patience, and kindness, I realized that I was wrong. I'm sorry. This started a huge wave of healing for my father and I. But it wasn't just that. It was the realization that if I could do that with just one picture, imagine what I could do with my entire gallery. It was time to renovate. I started tearing down old frames like a crazy Michelangelo on steroids and throwing new ones up. High school bully. Poor guy's so insecure, he has to put other people down to make himself feel good. Guy cut me off in traffic. Well, he's the one going to end up in the junkyard. Besides, the finger he stuck out the sunroof, he was probably just telling me I'm number one. My mother-in-law, there's only so much you can do. But when it came to my father, the frame I chose, best friend. Now, what about Elevator Man? Well, the frame I changed him to was probably just having a bad day. Besides, you never know what's going on in someone's life at any time. Smiley face. Sometime later, parking lot elevator in my office building. I press my floor, number 9. The doors open at the lobby, and guess who walks in? Mr. Elevator Man. And this time it looks like he's with his wife. They turn around in front of me and press number 6. They looked like they were in a good mood, so I smiled and said, "Good morning." And guess what? She was just as rude as he was. They both completely ignored me. But just when I thought I was going to let that ruin my day, she turned to him and said, "See, the frame does make the picture. Change your frame, change your mind. And if you change your mind, you change your life." Contest chair.